He walked barefoot on the hot tar road, under the sun. His clothes were torn. His eyes were wide. People crossed to the other side when they saw him coming. He laughed for no reason. Then, he bent down, and picked food from the gutter. Some said he was mad from birth. Others said it was drugs. But the old woman selling roasted corn near the bus stop knew his story. She shook her head slowly and said, "That boy used to drive a black Benz. Clean boy. Money full everywhere. House in Lekki. Now see madness don't catch But how did it all start? Let me tell you what happened. It all began with small money and a phone. His name was Chuka. A young man in his early 20s. Handsome. Tall. Always wore clean clothes, even when he had no money. The type that knows how to speak well. Girls liked him. Boys wanted to be like him. He had sharp sense. Chuka lived in a small face-me-I-face-you house in Ajigona. One room, no ceiling, one fan. Sometimes, no food. But he had one thing, a second-hand laptop and free Wi-Fi near the betting shop. That was how it started. He learned Yahoo from his neighbors. He would copy messages from Facebook, send them to white women, and tell them sweet lies. That he was a soldier. That his parents died. That he needed money to come and see them. He used fake pictures. He called it love format. He was good at it. At first, the money came small. $100 here. $200 there. Then bigger money came. One woman sent him $2,000 in 1 week. From that day, his life changed. He bought a new phone. Then a gold chain. Then fine sneakers. Drinks for the whole street. Girls started following him. He would throw money from his window and laugh. Within 1 year, Chuka moved from Ajigona to Lekki. He left the face-me-I-face-you and started living in a 2-bedroom flat. He bought a black Benz. Tinted glass. Loud music. His Instagram was full of pictures in front of the car. He even traveled to Dubai once, just to snap pictures by the hotel pool. Money made him proud. He no longer greeted the woman who sold akra near his old house. He didn't go to church. He didn't visit family. He said, "Suffer don't end." He thought the good life would never end. But the road ahead was waiting for him. Everything that goes up must come down. That is the way life works. Chuka did not know this. He thought the river of money would keep flowing. But one morning, he woke up, opened his laptop, and nothing worked. The white women stopped replying. The love format failed. His Gmail account was blocked. Instagram page deleted. The dollar stopped dropping. He tried again the next day. And the next. Still nothing. He changed his words, changed his pictures, even used voice notes. Still no reply. He begged one of his friends to send him new format. It failed too. Everything he tried failed. His bank account began to drop small by small. He sold one of his chains. Then one of his phones. But the bills kept coming. House rent. Light bill. Data subscription. Girls that used to flock around him now moved to other boys. The ones who used to call him baby stopped picking his calls. One day, Chuka entered his Benz. The car did not start. The mechanic came and said the engine had knocked. He didn't have money to fix it. The same Benz that used to make people open mouth when he drove past now sat in silence, covered in dust. He started remembering his old life. The face-me-I-face-you days. The hunger. The small phone and the free Wi-Fi. He could not go back there. He could not bear it. In his pain, he remembered Eo, his old Yahoo friend from the early days. Eo was still living well. Still driving. Still traveling. Still fresh. People said Eo used jazz. People said his money came from the other side. Chuka never believed it before. But now, with nothing left, he decided to visit Eo. He wore his cleanest clothes and took a bus. When he got there, he saw wealth with his own eyes. Big house. 2 cars. Cool air everywhere. Eo was still smiling like old days had never passed. Chuka sat down quietly. His eyes empty. His mind full. The road he never wanted to follow was now calling him. Eo looked at Chuka and saw a man who had reached the end. A man who had tested the world and lost. Eo told him there was still one way left. But it was not easy. It was not clean. Chuka agreed without thinking. He had nothing more to lose. They left the city that night. Entered a bus going far. The road was long. The place was quiet. They reached a small village with no signboard. There, deep inside a thick bush path, stood an old shrine. The air was cold. The ground was dry. A strange man sat outside the shrine. His eyes were red. His mouth did not move when he spoke. But Chuka heard him clear. The juju man said, "If you want riches again, you must do something." Chuka nodded. The juju man said, "There is a woman. She is mad. You will find her near mile 12. You must marry her. You must take her into your house. You must sleep with her every night. You must not let her bathe. You must feed her with your own hand. And you must not drive her away. If she leaves you, your riches will leave too." Chuka froze inside. His heart shook. He wanted to ask questions. But the juju man was already walking back into the shrine. The deal was done. Chuka returned to the city. The next day, he searched around mile 12. For hours, he walked through the crowd, near dustbins and gutters, until he saw her. She sat on the ground, picking pieces of paper. Her hair was thick with dirt. Her clothes were torn in many places. She laughed and sang to herself. Her smell was strong. Flies followed her. People looked at Chuka when he stood in front of her. Some laughed. Some shook their heads. But he carried her into his car, covered her with his jacket, and drove away. That day, Chuka brought madness into his house. But he also brought back something else. When Chuka brought the mad woman home, he did not let her enter the main house. He opened the boys' quarters behind the mansion and kept her there. The room had no fan, no AC, just an old mattress and one dim light. That was where she stayed. He shouted at night. She laughed at shadows. She scratched the walls. But Chuka did not complain. He remembered the words of the juju man. He fed her every day with his own hand. Even when her hands were dirty, he still gave her food. At night, he went into that small room. He held his breath. He covered his nose. And he did what he was told. Every single night. It was hard. The smell made his eyes water. The room was always hot. Her hair was full of lice. Her body was sticky with sweat and dust. But he never missed a night. And then, it started again. His phone began to ring with alerts. One woman from Canada sent $5,000. Another one sent $10,000. His Bitcoin wallet came back to life. His old formats worked again. He bought a new Benz. Bigger than the first one. He traveled to South Africa, to Ghana, even to Paris. Clubs began to call him for VIP tables. Girls started sending their pictures again. Some begged to visit. Some said they would cook and clean for him. But he said no to all of them. He became richer than before. His name spread again. Boys started calling him boss. Some came to learn from him. But none of them knew what he kept behind the house. Sometimes, when guests came to his mansion, they asked, "What is that smell?" He would laugh and say it was gutter water. Or that a dead rat was somewhere in the compound. He told his gateman to never go near the boys' quarters. He warned the cleaner to leave that place alone. But the smell got worse. It followed him. It stayed in his clothes. Even when he sprayed perfume, the smell still came back. Still, it did not stop. The money was sweet. The life was good. But something in the air had started to change. Chuka thought he could endure it. But day by day, his body grew tired. The smell became worse. The flies refused to go. His sleep became short. His food no longer tasted sweet. Even with all the money in his account, he was not happy. He started to feel shame. He could not invite friends over. He could not let girls stay the night. He sprayed perfume all over his house, but it was like water on a burning bush. The smell of madness was stronger. One night, after coming back from a party, he entered the boys' quarters and saw her dancing in the dark, naked, singing with a loud voice. Something inside him snapped. He turned around and walked out. The next night, he came with a bag. He carried her into the car without saying a word. He drove far. Past the city, past the farms, past the lights. He reached a quiet forest road and stopped. He pulled her out and dropped the bag on the ground. She looked at him and laughed. Then she sat down on the red sand. Chuka did not look back. He told himself it was over. That he had played his part. that the juju had already worked and the woman was no longer needed. He believed he had passed the test. For the first few days, everything stayed the same. His money was still flowing. His clothes still clean. His Benz still fresh. But on the 5th day, something strange happened. He got a message from someone in his old area. They said, "That mad woman is back. She is walking around the market, shouting your name." He did not answer. Later that day, someone else called and said, "She is pregnant." Then another one said, "She walks like you. Laughs like you. Even wears your old shirt." People are starting to talk. The rumors spread. Some said she now sat in front of his old house, calling his name from morning till night. Some said she told people that she would soon give birth to a king. Some said she no longer looked fully mad. That her eyes had changed. That her voice now sounded like his. Chuka laughed at first. But the laugh didn't last long. Because strange things were starting to happen around him. And the night was beginning to whisper. The money stayed for a while. But then it stopped. Just like before. His phone stopped ringing. His Gmail account froze again. His calls dropped in the middle of business talks. Some people blocked his number. Others said they were no longer interested. Chuka tried to act calm. He said maybe it was network. Maybe it was just a bad week. But deep inside, his chest felt tight. One evening, he entered his second car and started driving to a club. The music was loud, the road was free. Then smoke came from the engine. Before he could stop, fire came out. The car burned on the side of the road. He watched everything turn to ash. After that night, strange things began. He started hearing footsteps in his house when he was alone. Whispers in the toilet. Knocking on the window even when the gate was locked. At night, when he tried to sleep, he heard a voice. Soft, but clear. "You left her." Sometimes it said, "She carried it, not you." He would wake up with sweat on his face. The light would be off. The air would feel heavy. Then, the juju man came. Not in real life. But in a dream. The man stood under a tree. His eyes were red. His lips did not move, but the words entered Chuka's head like thunder. "You broke the covenant. The mad woman carried your blessing. You drove it away. You chased your own crown." Chuka woke up and shouted. From that day, things got worse. He forgot things. Simple things. Like where he kept his shoes. Or what day it was. He started locking himself inside the house. He would talk to the mirror. He would laugh at empty chairs. One day, he barked like a dog. Neighbors started to notice. They said his eyes no longer looked normal. His skin changed color. He walked with one slipper and one bare foot. The same man who once wore gold chains now tied a rope around his waist. One morning, someone saw him walking far from town. He was naked. His lips white. His eyes wild. He was eating sand. They followed him quietly. He was heading to that same village where the shrine was. But the shrine was no longer there. Only trees and red earth. Chuka sat on the ground. He smiled at the wind. He ate the dry soil like food. Nobody spoke. Nobody laughed. Because they knew. The curse had returned home. Months passed. The story faded from some mouths, but not from the streets. One early morning, near a busy market in the city, the mad woman sat by the roadside. Her belly was big. Her face looked calm. That day, she gave birth. Right there on the ground, with no nurse, no doctor. Just her. People gathered around, but no one touched her. They only watched. The child came out strong. No cry. Just open eyes. And one eye was golden. Shining in the sun like a coin from another world. The old women in the market crossed themselves. One man said he had never seen anything like that before. Some said the child was a spirit. Some said the child carried the wealth that Chuka threw away. Some said the child would grow rich without begging anyone. No one could explain it. The juju man that gave the instruction was never seen again. His shrine vanished. People searched. Nothing was there. Not even footprints. Chuka's house in Lekki was sold by the bank. Grass grew on the compound. Paint peeled from the walls. The street boys called it the madman's palace. Some said if you passed by at night, you would hear footsteps from the boys' quarters. His name became a warning. Parents told their sons, don't follow Chuka's road. Elders said, money that comes too fast can go too fast. And sometimes, it takes your mind with it. Some still ask what happened to the mad woman. Some say she lives under a bridge, still calling his name. Some say she disappeared with the child. Some say the child was taken by the wind. But one thing remains. Greed can blind a man. Not all money comes free. Some blessings carry curses. Would you sleep with a mad woman for money? And if you did, would you keep her forever? Like and subscribe to the channel for more powerful African folktales. More stories are coming. True stories. Stories that teach.